Okay.
Okay, so like learning the new concepts, whatever you guys need to like work on, we are good. There's no other new libraries that we will be learning going forward. So the rest of the class, how we would be spending is seeing like how you can debug a code, to see basically like to check if your code is like working as expected, and for fixing, like how would you be like looking for errors and then analyzing the errors that is coming in your code, and then you yourself will be able to like fix some of the errors. And other than that, like if a new code, if you're seeing like a code in the internet, how can you like analyze those codes? So that is what like this rest of the section will be. Towards end of the class, we will be taking like three big programs that's using like Pygame, and we will analyze what is happening in those codes. So the expectation is that after today's class, you will be introduced to pseudocode, and you would need to like write a document of what that code is doing. So that will be like the assignment for the three codes. Any questions? Okay. First section is to see how you can fix errors, and then how you will be debugging the code. For debugging, I will actually walk you through the PyCharm to see how you can start the debugger and then stop and work through the process. But um, Okay, so many times you're all like facing errors, right? When you're doing the code, okay, you face a error, and then it's not something that you anticipated. But how do you fix it? Like what kind of errors can happen, and how would you recognize those errors, and how would we be fixing it? So our labs today, all the codes will error. So each of you would actually take like one code, and then you will be fixing that like during the demo session. But everybody will be fixing all the errors that's happening in the code. So the first one we'll talk about syntax error. What does that mean? If instead of typing, like if you have given like if some condition, and then you forgot the colon, that is like a syntax error. Like you just forgot something. It's not as per the syntax of how the program is expecting you to do it. Um, so probably like I have not explained this part to you so far. When for the computers, everything is like zeros and ones, right? Like the programming languages are written in like a little bit like an English format. So for us, as for humans, it is easy to interact with the computers. So each programming language has its own format. So if you're talking anything beyond the format, it doesn't understand it. So any code that you write, it first does some work called compilation. So in the compilation, your English kind of written code is getting converted into the zeros and ones. So if it cannot compile it, which means if it cannot like process it, like first is the compilation, it needs to understand. It's like translating the language what we wrote into the computer's core language. So whatever you wrote, if you wrote it as like if something is equal to something, it will convert it into like a 0 1 kind of logic, which was like the olden days. That was the kind of code that everybody were doing. But as days progressed, more and more programming languages came. So if it cannot translate, that is when it says like it's a syntax error, which means it doesn't understand it. It's like a translation error. And the parenthesis error, this is like almost close to the syntax errors, but some of the programming languages will specifically say what kind of syntax error you are doing. In this case, if you are having like additional parenthesis, or if you're having a missing parenthesis, then you will be getting like this parenthesis error, and your code will specifically be showing like where that error is happening. And then the argument error, which we are using a lot of packages, right? Like turtle, and you also like wrote some of the functions, like for add, multiply, etc., which all expects some kind of argument, like number of arguments, like I am looking for two input values to be sent to me, or I'm looking for three input values to be sent to me, or some would say I don't expect any input to be sent to me. So in that case, if you have missed an argument or if you have added an additional argument, then you will be getting this argument error. So two kinds of argument errors, one is like the missing argument error and the other one is like the extra argument error. Then the next one is like the indentation error. This is like very specific to like Python. So far as I have seen it. Some languages like COBOL, if you don't give like a period at the end of the sentence, then it will like scream. It doesn't like that. That is because it just needs to know where that sentence is like ending. So it's similar. It's like that. It's like the structure of the program. So in Python, it's all about indentation. If after a if statement, it is expecting some kind of statement and you did not indent the next statement, if you were planning to do like a print and then you did not indent it properly and both if and the print are starting at the same column, then that's like an indentation error. But luckily we are using PyCharm. When you hit enter itself, the PyCharm will automatically start you the next line in the place where you have to code. But if you're just like typing Python code in like a notepad, you have to pay attention to that indentation error indentations. So that's why the IDEs actually help you, because some of the hard work they have taken it on their side. So when you hit enter, it will automatically show you where your next line of code should start. And there can be combinations also, right? It's not like if you get a syntax error, you won't get anything else. It's just like depending on how you have coded. If in case like you had more than one errors, maybe you had like an extra argument and then also an indentation error. So the first, as the code is going, getting compiled, like the program will compile like one line at a time. And the line it hits, it may be like the first, the extra argument is coming and it says, hopes I have, you have given me an extra argument, and okay, you observed that, you fixed it, and you may be running it again. And when you see the error again, it's very natural that you might doubt the computer, saying I already fixed it, so why is it like telling it that it is erroring again? And you may be paying attention only in that same line of code that where you fixed. But if you look closer in the error log, it might, like in the error section, it could say like, oh, it's an indentation error. So it's like a different, so the first error might have happened at like the fifth line, and then as it progresses, you fixed the fifth line, and then you're moving on, and it is actually like looking to, so it translated the line 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10th error, it's like another like indentation error. So there can be combinations. So as you fix the errors, when if you are like rerunning it and again facing an error, look closely to see if it is giving an error in a different place. So it's just like, doesn't, don't need to panic or worry about like I already fixed it, why is it like telling error? So same way you can have like a syntax error and then a missing argument error. It doesn't, these are just some examples. It doesn't mean that this is how the errors would come. And uh, if unless you're like a super duper like wonderful programmer, every single programmer does like syntax errors and compilation errors, like that is very common. That's why all those compiler libraries and errors are all like built in to tell the programmer that, hey, you have not coded something correctly here. Like, so you all might have heard about like the Grammarly checking the Word document, making sure you are like typing the grammar correct. Yeah, so those kind of checks, it will do it. But still, if the grammar may be right there, but if you have just like used some words wrongly, if the interpretation of the sentence is not what you intended, then that nobody can check it, like what you really wanted to convey. So that is similar to this in the code, like what you are really trying to achieve, that the computer program, like computer doesn't know. All it knows is it able to read your code? Have you done given the code correctly? And am I understanding it? It's going to blindly follow what you have coded. And that's one reason why when we were doing that greater than exercise, it was telling 5 is greater than 5, because we did not check if 5 is equal to 5. We were only checking for one condition, whether it is a number is less than another number, and when we give both the numbers together, it was checking whether it was less or not. That's all. And then it just said it is greater, even though it is not greater. And it's not the computer's problem, it's you who coded it like that. Questions here?
So
No.
when you try when I like back when you told me try to like fix it, the like
Uh-huh.
5's greater than 5 one, I did like a if else condition, and I put
Uh-huh.
else, and then
Uh-huh.
else 5 is equal to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tried it, it kept giving me an error.
Okay, so
And
you, for the equal to, we need to do like double equals, if that is like one other common
but
mistake that could happen.
I put that in a string though. So
Even if it is, so any kind of equal checkings will happen with like double equal to. Let's keep that code ready, we will take a look at it during your lab session.
okay,
Okay, so maybe we can start with you first when we start the lab, so we will see like how it is done.
okay.
Okay. So next is like debugging. So what is bugging, right? It's the bugging word could be bugging, but like um, for when you're debugging the code, you are walking through the code step by step. That's what, like, you are running it slowly, one step at a time. So you're analyzing the code step by step. If you have written like 10 lines of code, you are checking to see what each line of code is doing. You're walking through it slowly, and it helps you to see, okay, what values were assigned to the variables, what is happening at each step, what was my x at line number 2, and then what happened at line number 3, and what happened to x in line number 4. Like that, you can check what is happening to the variables. And then you can check if your program is also going in loops. Let's say like your program was like constantly running and it did not stop at all. You can manually stop the program and then debug your program to see, okay, your loop did not get like in the variable in the loop for exiting the loop is not like getting initialized or not getting incremented. So that's why your loop is going like constantly. It helps you to see that your program is going in loops or not. And it also helps you to check your conditions, whether so this where like those conditions what you're also telling Alan. And I think like Dhruv also asked that same question, like, okay, 5 is equal to 5, why is it telling 5 is greater than 5? So that we can check that condition, okay, what is happening there, why is it telling 5 is greater than 5 when it is not when it is equal to. So it helps you to check that. And you can navigate. So the next thing is like when you're navigating through the code, your code you can navigate, but since you're using the turtle and Tkinter and Pygames and all, so when you're saying like turtle.bg color, it's actually executing the turtle's code, even though like you wrote it, but in that step it is entering into another code and then executing it. So it sometimes like the error could be, if in case like you told like turtle.bg color and you didn't give any color, or like a color that does not exist, it will be throwing you an error, and it will say at what code that error is happening. So and when you're debugging, you don't have to like enter into that other package codes, because that could be little overwhelming right now, because those line of codes are like about 4,000 lines of code will be there, then you might feel lost. So I'll show you like how you can skip not entering into those line of codes. But if in case like you're entering into that line of codes, you can observe how that code is written and where actually that error is coming. It could say, and it may be the error messages there may or may not make sense. It depends upon like how that coder has, like that programmer has written that code. So the recommendation will be mostly to like just debug your code and look into documentations of how you can use the other packages. So like the lines of code, as I mentioned, like the turtle and Tkinter or the programs that is written by other programmers. So you don't have to like get into that code for analysis. Let's quickly take a look at pseudocode, and then I'll give a demo session of how you can do the debugging. Let me stop. Okay, yeah, my program is stopped here. Okay, pseudocode. What does that actually tell? Anyone can make a
Well,
guess what that means?
well, I know pseudo means a copy,
Mm.
and so is it a copied code?
Copy of the code. Okay. When I was introduced to this word, I was always introduced with respective to the computer world. So I didn't know that pseudo means copy, but pseudo code is like it's like a duplicate code. It's not a code by itself. It's like an English kind of code. So sorry. Let's. Yeah, so it's also called algorithms. So some people also call it as like algorithms of what the programs are doing. So give me an algorithm of what your program is doing. But pseudocode is like mostly used words though. It's English like code. So if you're saying like, okay, the other programming languages that also you write it as like English, but we don't say like equal to when we are like comparing two numbers, right? Like we just say if x is equal to y, then just like type s. We don't say if x is equal to. So that's not like real like English. So English is like colloquial day to day kind of language that you use. So it's like that kind of code, and it's not written to syntax. So when you are writing it, you don't need to worry about. You can just like call, let's call a variable as my dollar world. So you can just tell it like that. It doesn't matter. You don't have to like follow any kind of syntax when you're writing that pseudocode. And you don't need to like worry about indentation, any of the programming structures. You don't need to like worry about it at all. And it's like a paper pen walkthrough of the code, I would say. So once you like write it down, you're like jotting down, okay, this is how my code is supposed to look like. And then you take like a paper and pen and saying, okay, step number one, if my value is like, if I'm sending x as 3 and then y as 5, at step number 2 this is what will be happening, and in step number 3 this is what will be happening. So you'll have like a real, you literally have a paper pen with you, and then write down at each step what is happening with your variables. We still, like, even experienced programmers do this. We don't right away start doing the code. We always like start with like some kind of like a pseudo code or like a block diagram or a box diagram, and then when we are like all set, that's when we start coding. Because the moment you start coding, like fixing the errors and recoding and then making changes to that, it's like a little bit very, like it's a little bit difficult than just updating the pseudo code. And I'll show you some example to say like why it is so important. And it can be written for like any language. So let's like you are familiar with like Python, but one of your other developer is familiar with some other language like Java, and some other programmer is familiar with Scala, and your company, they've just like told it doesn't matter in which language you're writing the code, I just need this working product. Then in that case, there can be like one pseudo code just written on like a very high level, and then that can be used by any of this language, like any of these programmers for their own language purposes. There'll be a little bit of programming aspects into it. So if the functions, if some language does not use functions at all, you cannot give like a pseudocode in like a function manner. So little bit of language structures will be used, but not like a lot. The biggest benefit here is like you can, anyone can understand that pseudocode. That's the key benefit here. It's not just like you're a programmer only will be able to understand the code that is written in Python. But if for example you wrote a code, and if in case like any of your family members or grandparents or cousins or like not familiar with any programming language, if you show it to them, it will be all like gibberish to them. Instead, if you write it like a pseudocode and present it to them, it's easy for them to understand. So let's take a look at that lamp problem that we were working on right earlier. We didn't work on it, we looked at an example of that. So steps to repair lamp, this is what like the pseudocode will say. It's not going to say like if else like that. It just says like steps to repair the lamp. If the lamp is plugged in and the bulb is burned out, then change the bulb. And if the lamp is plugged in and bulb is not burned out, then repair the lamp. So this is like a pseudocode. If you don't need to, like, anyone can understand it. Okay, you're just given this code. A business person would come to you as a programmer and then say, hey, I want a code for this. They can also write it and give it to you, and then you would say, okay, let's see what to do, like how many times do I have to repeat it, do I just like check it for once or not. Then you can introduce a code like line immediately saying, okay, repeat the steps until the lamp is fixed. So you can interact with your business partner to say how your program should look before even you start doing the code. So for the project, that like for our course project, that's what we would start doing. Like you, I'm expecting like that you guys will like write like a pseudo code for the course project that we will work on. Then you will start doing the coding. So don't start coding immediately. You would see like how easy it is, like when you do the pseudocode and then you start coding with that. Any questions here?
No.
Okay, so that's it. Let me show you the course project. So the course project will be due on 7/27, which is 2 weeks from now. Right? Yeah, so it's like almost 2 weeks from now. So you have this week and then all next week to work on it, and then 27th you would be presenting it, and on the last day there will be an assessment given. So I'll be asking individually to you guys, like during our class. We'll have like a separate session while others are like working on like couple labs, like for 10 or 15 minutes I'll be assessing like how well you have learned this, and then an assessment will be done on the 29th. I'll ask some questions. I'll ask you to like maybe fix some code or like write a code for me at that time, or write a pseudocode. It can be a mix of it. I haven't come up with a question paper yet, but there will be like an assessment on the 29th. That will be the last day of our class. Any questions?
No.
What is the course project?
Yes, that's what, like, hold on, let me, I didn't line up the, yes, it's right here. That's good. So course project, let's wait, it's a video that will pop up. This is what you will be drawing. So this is a sample course project, but if you want to do some other scenery, you can do that.
Wait, we have to like draw this like
Yes,
with
with
like
the
Like
turtle.
using
or like
Turtle, Tickinter, Pie game. You're free to use anything you want, but I want like a scenery like this. Like it can be a different scenery also. You first have to. So what will you do? Like you will draw it in a picture, like in a piece of paper, and then tell me what you plan to draw. And then for that you would say what all like functions you plan to use, how your program will be organized. So that's where you will start with your pseudocode, and then you will start programming it a little by little. If you want, you can pair up with one other team member in your group and then work as a team also. You can do it individually or just pair up with only one person. So two at a time can work, but not more than two.
I would like that.
Yeah, so you guys can like reach out to others and then see if you can like pair up and work, or if let's say if four pair like so that we have like four teams here. If we have like two team members in a group working, if one person says no, I would like to work individually, then if only one person is left out, let me know. Then I can pair you with some other person. Like I'll see if one of us can help. Like I will not be helping you, but I can just for you to get company, I can ask like
because
Veda to see.
if you did like do that, then it wouldn't be fair because you already know like the code to make it.
Yes. Yes,
So
so I will not be helping, but then I can ask like I have like Veda as buffer. I will ask her if she is interested to like just help you guys if there is like one person left out like that, so that one other team will not be empowered also to say that there is three people in that team. But I'll recommend like working as a pair, so that you will also see like how the other person is thinking and how you can come up with this project.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can we put the clouds in a different place? Because putting the clouds right there makes the house look like it has bunny ears.
Okay, as said, like you just show me a picture of what you plan to draw, because at the end of the project, I would like to see if that's all like feasible to be doing in the project also. So we don't want something more complicated to be thought at the beginning and then later we struggle through it. At the same time, I don't want like a very simple project also because I feel like we did learn a lot. Applying all those
Can
concepts,
you
it's
like
basically. Mhm.
can you change your project up like a little bit if it like gets like if it seems like a little bit too easy maybe? Can you like change it up a bit to like make it more favorable? Like
Are you asking me to change it or you're
no,
saying like
like
you would change it?
if I want to change it after
Yeah,
I
so
code.
let's do this. Today is 15th, so by in 2 days, like by Friday, I want you guys to form a pair and then just WhatsApp or put it in the Google page saying who is all the team, and then Saturday you can come up with your project like a picture diagram of it, and then from next Sunday to end of next week, you guys will be working on the project. So you will come up with like a pseudo code and then present it on the 20th on Monday and then slowly start working on it. Like do a pseudo code, coding, pseudo code, coding kind of thing. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so by 17th form the
Yeah.
team, 17th form the team, by 18th
How
come up
are we
with the
supposed
picture.
to like form teams? Like should we
I
like
think we I think we
Read,
just like type in the chat who wants to partner with me. If anyone wants to partner with you, you can just reach out and just talk to each other and then form.
yes,
Oh, and
okay.
speaking of that,
yes. Any other questions? So by 17th, your team will be formed. 18th, the picture will be ready. And by 22nd, let's say we all our pseudo code is complete. And then by 27th, the coding should be done. Okay. And you will be graded based on your course project. So I will be looking for, I will tell you what all I will be looking for. I'll look for like the variable naming. I look for if you have used functions. I will look for if you have used like loops and if conditions. And then whatever libraries like you have used, like the how your picture is like all lined up, that the coordinates and all will be coming into picture there. But the programming structures wise, the loops, functions, and variables is all what I will be like looking for. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see here. Okay, that just ends that section. So I'm going to like bring up my PyCharm. So you all would have noticed this bug here, right? This little bug here. On your PyCharm, you would be seeing this bug here, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
That's what you
So
use to debug, right?
yes, that is what you use for debugging. So you can click there for debugging, or you can like right click here and then say debug. But this red dot you have noticed like multiple times, this red dot actually means stop the program when you're debugging at this point. I want to see what is happening here. And if I say here, I want to see what is happening here. You are marking the points and then saying, I want to pay attention to what is happening here because this is where I think like I'm not expecting, like I'm getting a result that I am not expecting to get. So I've marked these two locations here. So let me start the debug session here. So if I just say debug, do you also notice like the icons here will be like little different? Right, if you slightly like scroll over, it says like mute breakpoints and view the breakpoints. So this just like helps you to see where all your points, where all you have like marked this
I
circles.
have
That's
a
the
question.
breakpoints. Yes,
Are those circles like the breakpoints? Cause I've seen
yes,
them
that is
like,
what
pop
I
up
was
before
telling
on
right now.
accident. and I didn't really know what they were, so I just didn't use them.
Yes, that is what like I just told right now, that they are the breakpoints, which means you are asking it to stop when it is like running. So how can we like relate it to your work, right? For example, if you have assigned a task to, let's say, like your the person who is like reporting to you, or someone like you have assigned a task, they just go finish the task, and then they come and say like I am done with the task, and you really like don't know what they did. So you're actually like telling them, okay, after you finish step number 1, come and tell me, I want to see what has happened at that time. So that's so that you don't actually let them complete the job completely and then go and check it out. So that is what like the break point is, like you are not letting the program complete by itself. You're saying, okay, stop here and wait for my inputs, then only you can continue. So when I started, so if you don't give any breakpoint and if you're just like debugging, the program will just like end. It will run and end. You need to have, give like some kind of like a breakpoint here. So now I have given the breakpoint here, and but it's actually waiting for my input. So I say I enter my name, and see the program did not like continue, it just like stopped right here, even though this is just like a print statement, right? It could have just like printed, and then the next thing, the next question should be asking is like please enter an adjective, but that did not happen. It just like stopped right here. And I want you to pay attention to this section here. Do you see the variables? It's actually telling the variables. So name is one of the variable that I have assigned. So it is having the data type string, and the value that was given is Vanita, right? And if I want to keep monitoring that, okay, if I have to like keep watching what is happening to that variable, I can right click and then say add to watches. Watches are like here on this section. So I just say like add to watches, and it comes here. So as I proceed with the code, I can keep seeing like what is happening with this piece of with this variable. It really helps to understand what is happening with your code, and if anywhere you have added twice, or you changed the variable, or you're not seeing it, and right there the line of code. And especially when you're writing like multiple lines of code, it helps you to see where actually the problem is happening. And if you are seeing like this is like a list. So right now you don't have to like pay attention. There will be a lot of information posted when you are actually debugging. So there are few things which you don't need to worry about, but just paying attention to your variables would be helpful. And then on here, these blue buttons are the key points here. So the first one is telling like step over, which means don't enter into that code, like just finish that line and then come here. This is where I was telling like the turtle kind of codes, you don't need to get into that code. You just like want to complete that statement and go to your line only. So if I say like step over, it just like it just comes to the next line. And this is like step into, which means it gets into the code. So if I'm having like a turtle or something, it just like goes inside that code. And yeah, step into my code, then again it just like gets into your code only. Then step out, it comes out of that code. So let's see, like if I do like step over, it just comes to the next one and it prints. So here in the console, if you need to see what is happening in the console, so you need to like go to your console, like the Python, not there. So you need to go to your console to actually see. So it's where it is getting printed, but you have your debugger here and then your console here. And I don't know if you noticed, like there was a small pop-up that came here, and pay attention to this icon. When there is additional messages in the console, it actually pops up like a small icon here. So now we will say like step over that line, and it is asking for the adjective. So and then enter a noun, and just like that is also teacher. So what happened? So name teacher is not found. So I'll like step into that one more time. I think I typed something wrong there. Okay, verb. Ending with the ed. Okay, some problem has
Maybe
happened
try
here.
putting it as like a string, like with quotation marks.
No, we don't need to give it with the quotation marks, right? We always like typed it without that. So some other problem is happening there. Oh, that was a Python console. It really did not like run there though. Yep. So now print your madlib. I think the program ended. So let me run it like one more time. So I'm pressing like F7 on each of these lines. Okay, did you notice that the moment we say like step into, it opened like a totally different code. So parse.py, which we did not code for that at all. But this line is actually like going there as parse.py. So I don't want to be in this code because this is not my code. So what do you do for that?
Step out.
Step out, yeah. But when you step out and then, yes, so here, tell me an adjective to enter.
Goofy.
Goofy. Okay, that's what you think about me.
No.
No.
I just thought of the Mickey Mouse character.
Okay, so then we can say like step into my code. So it just like gets into like my code alone. It does not get into like other code. So you said Mickey Mouse and gonna give Mickey Mouse here. So then it is asking for the next line. No, it's not asking for the next line. It's just like waiting there. So do you notice that it's in the Python console, but it is waiting here and you see all these lines activated, right? When you see all these lines activated, the debugger is still like running. So you say like step into your code. Now it's asking for any. So let me like and now it's here. Then we say like step into my code and it should have like your mad lib is and you step into your code. It just like goes one line at a time and step into your code. It asks for your favorite color, red, and then like step into your code. Favorite animal is cat, and then step into your code. Then another adjective. So Advait, another adjective. You said first goofy. Don't want to say like goofy again. Say hungry cat. I'm just going to make it like hungry cat. Okay, so it's at the last line of the code. Now we can go back to the debugger console and you see all the variables that you mentioned are here. Right, like the adjective, first adjective, the second adjective, what you gave, the animal, the color, name, noun, verb. This helps to see if whatever variable, like the values got assigned to the variables is like to your expectation. And when we say like step into my code, it's done. You see that it's all like grayed out. And then your console, do you see the small icon that says like there is messages there in the console? So if you come here, it just says like it is done. Any questions? So this is called like you're basically you're testing your code like step by step. They have a name, and I think it's called like white box testing, which means you are like stepping into the code one step at a time. But there is something called like black box testing, which means like you don't have the patience to go like one line at a time, and then your code is also very big that you cannot like sit there and then do F7 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 like shift F7, and accidentally if you hit a different button it could just like end the debugger like how it happened like previously, and then you need to start the debugger again and again, watch for the variables. For that like wherever this breakpoint is, you could come and like enter print statements also. You'll just like say at this time like enter print me what was the value given for adjective, and you would say you can also say okay, value for adjective at line 11 was something like that for you to identify from the print messages. So looking at that, you will be able to see whether you have achieved like the right result or not. So this is another way of testing. So you can have as many print statements as you want in your code, but what is the disadvantage of having the print statements, like doing this black box testing? What is the disadvantage of that? Can someone tell me?
You might go over something that you might miss something that might have been wrong with the code.
If you so all the codes at some time after someone tests the code, they all run in, and then like what we say is like they all run in production, which means like if you go to Google right now and then you're typing something, there's programs running in the background, right? And those programs nobody will touch that, it's already coded and tested. It's like your cars that you yeah, that we go and buy. The manufacturers does not come and tell you that hey, I want to check if I installed the brakes correctly, hey, I want to check if I've installed the engines correctly. It's all already tested and left into production. So that's why like these codes are also some copy of the code will be running in a production environment, which means nobody will touch the code. So if you did a black box testing, you gave all these print statements, and you let's say you created a website and you had all these print statements. When a user is coming to your website, they will see these print statements. So unnecessarily, either they will see it or you will see it in the logs. So unnecessarily, this print statements will be executed. And if you are asking your user to enter user ID password, and then you said like print user ID password, then which means you literally will be seeing what user ID password they entered. So that is the disadvantage of having this print statements, because you need to change your code one more time when you are actually making that code to go live. Did you all understand that concept about going live with your code?
Yes, sorta.
Sort of, okay, yeah. Like your apps and all, like whatever you're running in your apps, do you think every day somebody will be making changes to those codes?
No.
No.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
no, nobody will be touching those codes. Yeah, and you would have also noticed some websites saying we are making an upgrade. We will be issuing like tomorrow night we will be making an upgrade. Our system will be down. Have you noticed that messages anywhere?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means
Call of
they are
Duty Advanced
actually,
Warfare.
yeah, so that is the time when they have completely shut down their system, so nobody is accessing that system, and then they will put the new code, and then once the new code is put in place, people will be testing it. Okay, if I'm doing this function, this function, this function, is everything working fine? Once they say thumbs up, then they will release the new code. That's when we start seeing new versions. So that time, if in case they had this print statements and all, and if in Google, let's assume like Google, that is a text box, and then in the text box you entered as a search message, and some developer had saying like, okay, message box show the text that was typed in the Google text box, and then it will every time say, okay, you are searching for this, you are searching for this. Isn't that annoying for you? Right, instead of giving the results, it's just giving a message box as a pop-up and then saying you're searching for this one. Did I lose everyone or what?
Wait, so like, do you mean like, oh, Do you mean you were searching for this?
Yeah, so if
Oh
in
yeah,
case
yeah,
like
that's really
yeah,
annoying.
that is like annoying, right? Like
Yeah.
if I'm just like if in Google I just like go and then because if we imagine this as a tick enter screen, right? This is a label, right? Like the Google one is a label for us. And then what is this? This is a text file, text box, right? Are you all with me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is a label and then we have a text box. It's just like we don't have buttons here, but if I'm just like saying Python tick enter, if I'm just like saying here tick enter and when I hit enter, instead of giving me the results, it is just going to give me a pop-up saying, okay, oh, you are searching for tick enter. So every time if that message is coming, if that was something that developer coded and forgot to remove, then that is like annoying, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like
So
no one was just.
yep. So that's why when you do like the black box testing and then you have actually entered some print statements, accidentally you might make that code be the production code. That's the only drawback of doing like the black box testing. Okay, so I will stop sharing and Alan, you go ahead and start sharing the screen and basically we will start with your problem and then the errors. I thought
Okay, so
today,
like the
yeah,
one that like we would like I can't run any programs.
yes, yes.
Okay. So when I go to PyCharm, pretend okay 74. When I run it, it gives me an error, and then when I go to like for example another one,
Oh, okay. So
25.
down, yeah, it is just saying that your Python is not like set up to instead of like the 39, it's still referring to that old 39 python.exe. So this one is using your old environment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So drop down that project 25. You see that project 25 right next to that arrow. What do you call that? The play button. Uh,
Here.
yes, no, on the top actually, on the top right hand side corner.
Okay, here. Yeah.
Yes, yes, drop down that and then click on open, like edit configuration. Click on the edit configuration. So we have to enter like a new environment because you changed we deleted the Python 3.9 and then we entered a different Python, right? Let's see if that is available for you in the drop down here.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now
yes.
okay.
So do you see 3.8? Yep. So now run the code. Yeah, I think it's running.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. So it ran.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's just like it was telling like no Python. So that is like one other code, right? So that kind of error is like called environment error. So the environment in which like you're running your code, that is like not having enough libraries.
Uh,
So how can I explain that is let's say you're going to like Chuck E. Cheese, all the machines, if those machines are not like working, you just cannot do any work. Yeah, you cannot play on any of those machines, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that environment is not set for you for your code to like run. So that's what it was
So
telling.
wait. So I mean, so I installed a 3.8, right? So I
Mm.
mean, can't they have like? Is there any way that they could have like coded it so that I don't have to like go to edit configurations and
Yeah,
because like
they did not do that, and I see your pain.
I mean, I guess it's like really short, but like still like what if someone got lost? Like I pretend I didn't have you, then I
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get it, right? So I mean,
Yep, yep.
or like
So
you forgot or something.
it could happen, but some of the IDEs are little smarter and some are not. But in this IDE, it's just like saying, you tell me the environment in which I have to run, and then I will run it.
Okay.
Why was the screen green? Which screen is green, sir? Dhruv? I don't know what he is like asking for. Okay, yeah, go ahead and open the lab, Alan. So we will work on one lab.
His screen keeps on like having like a green shade all over it from time to time.
It's not happening for us here, for me here. Is anybody else seeing that problem?
No, I don't see it.
Okay. So these are all errors. Okay. Every single program will error.
Okay.
Every single program.
Every single program that you will run here will be erroring. So
Right now,
you
I
have
don't
to.
see the error.
You don't see the error? Really?
Because I didn't get a close look at it.
I mean, did you run it and you didn't see the error?
I need to see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
There's only like 7. I think my 8th lab did not get updated there. So I will copy paste the 8th one, but.
Wait, just saying, it might say, I don't know if it does because it won't show me, but it might say I'm on here twice.
On where twice?
So, I'm using Skype on 2 different computers, so it might I'm on there twice, just telling you. So if that happens for some reason, that's what it is.
Okay, okay.
Because I had the labs that I had to do. I use PyCharm on the computer. I'm talking in Skype, so I bring
Okay.
the computer and I can see what Skype is going on and hear it off the speaker I'm using.
Okay.
Yeah, come here.
Okay, did just copy paste actually, Alan, like whatever is there.
I did.
Okay, so what happened here though?
Okay. Okay, so now debug.
No, you don't start debugging right now. We are just going to run it and then throw the error. So stop the debugger.
Okay.
Yeah, just run it right now. Okay, change the environment for it. Every single program you need to like change it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because like if we started another project on that day, right? So if you had like copy pasted all the projects there, you wouldn't have to do it. Yeah, if
Makes
you are
sense
like.
now. I've done it.
You have done it. You got the error. Okay, now you see the error. So Alan, I want you to observe like down in the console. See, it says like the error. Can you identify which line it is saying? So right above that, it is saying file, your code, and then line 5, right?
Yeah.
So then it says like what? Syntax error, invalid syntax.
Yeah, and it shows me like the where.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how would we fix it? Who knows the syntax for fixing the split statement? Yes.
So you whatever you undo, like you need that apostrophe single quote with the space between it, but you need to put them in parentheses and the first name split comma then that thing.
So Alan, what you can do is like I would say the way, if you don't remember how you can fix this code, go to Google.
Okay.
Are you in Google? Okay, yes. So type like Python string split in. Yep, so just like hit enter, some search will be coming here. Just click on that. And you see there they didn't give any variable, just like scroll down. It is simply saying just like split. So this is like the syntax. So the English version of telling down, you see syntax, right? String dot split separator. No. So yeah, right there. That is the description of what you need to do. But many people just like scroll down and look for examples. So scroll down. And you see like how they have given here like split, and then it starts with the
Yeah.
you have to give it
Okay.
within parenthesis and then quotes, and
Okay.
then the variable with which like the character that you are looking for to split. So now
Okay.
looking at this example, fix the code.
Okay.
Yep, and then run the code. Why are you
Oh
deleting
yeah,
that?
my bad. Okay.
Yeah. So hey, good job. So you fixed your first error.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
it a bit differently.
Yeah, you can see there are in computers though there is n number of ways you can do something.
Oh, so I still did it right?
I don't. If you got the result, like if your program ran fine without errors, then that
I
means
did.
you did it right. Yep.
Woo! I succeeded
Wait,
in
are
life.
we going
Okay.
to like look at the else condition thing, or like do that
Yes.
after
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Go to that else condition and let's do like a debugging session there.
Okay. So so it was in I think lab 3.
Okay.
Okay.
You're not sharing your Python screen like I am seeing
I'm
the
not.
Skype.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't. I think you stopped
Okay.
sharing. Maybe. Yeah. I think you stopped sharing.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay. Let's.
What is he
Is
doing?
this the one? Okay.
it's like
So
the no.
Which one is he doing?
he is
The
doing the greater than less than problem where it was telling that
okay. I
the
think
number is less
no.
than or greater. I thought I saw it. Okay,
Oh,
let's
okay,
do
okay.
one thing. I thought you already opened it. Let's hold on. Don't open any more programs. First,
Okay.
close this 54. Yeah, close that one and
Okay.
close this one also. Let's just keep close this and yeah, close this one also. That too. I thought I saw it unless like you closed it. Yeah, this is yes. Stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, this is the
So
one.
I changed it to else print
Uh-huh.
num2
Mm-hmm.
comma is equal to num1. But when I run it, oh wait, no, I'm
Uh-huh.
doing this.
Yeah, run it because I can see why.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
See,
can see
Alan, you.
too.
Okay, Alan. This is not the 62 has to be set up, right? Set the environment for 62. The one that you checked was for 75. Project 75.
Oh. Okay. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Drop down that. You have to do that one more time.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it gave me it, and then it. I thought it was like a. I didn't
Yep. So
really.
what is this telling here? It's saying invalid syntax.
Yeah, but I thought it was supposed to be an indentation error because they kept giving me like a.
So whenever it says syntax error means that means you're
Yeah.
talking it to it, it's not able to understand. So how many else condition can we have in a if?
One.
Only one else condition we can have in a if, but you have got two else conditions here. So if you have multiple if conditions that needs to be checked, what do? We use
LF.
elif,
Yeah,
yes.
and I tried that too, but it also didn't work.
Okay, not there. So the elif will, so else will be the last one.
Oh,
Because
okay.
yeah, so you may like if somebody is like telling you, if I'm telling you, okay, you come to class today, else tomorrow, then after that like you are done listening to me at that time, right? And after that I cannot give you conditions again saying,
Yeah.
oh, if not like that. So your second
Okay.
condition should be elif. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now in elif is a condition, right?
Yeah.
So you have to tell what it needs to check. So what do you want it to check in the elif? Elif
If
also.
number
Hmm.
2 is equal to num1.
Yes, so you need to have that condition coded after the words elif. No, your indentation was fine.
Okay. Yeah.
You have two
Backspace.
is greater
Yeah.
So
thans.
Uh, where, okay, after you have typed elif, right?
Yeah?
So again, you can Google for the elif syntax also.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, now I get it.
Yes, but before the colon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, now you run it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So Dhruv, is Dhruv there? Dhruv, did you also pay attention to what Alan was trying to do? Because you asked the same question as everyone, like Alan was asking, like 5 was equal to 5, but it is telling it is greater than.
Yeah, I saw the elif part. Oh, and
Okay.
somebody and I went out on one and joined again in the green, and there's still green, but there's also pink for some reason.
You have got the weirdest thought in the world, my friend.
I don't know. Okay, Alan, you can stop sharing. And Sean, can you share your screen and you will fix the second code?
Go on Windows and troubleshoot that
I'm on a
monitor.
Chromebook. No,
You
sorry.
got a Chromebook? Smash it to the
I
ground.
don't know what is happening on your Chrome, but what you're saying is just making me laugh because all different. Maybe if you exit and come again, you will see a rainbow. Are you seeing a rainbow on your screen?
No,
Are
Is
you?
there technical
it
difficulties?
was only when the screen sharing was happen, and maybe it's because I'm using a monitor.
Yeah.
And
Troubleshoot
we are
that
not
monitor.
seeing that green color, so it's very hard to say what you are saying. I can't help.
It's happening.
Miles, did you say you need help or like are you?
No, I was talking on the person that had the screen having with green and pink.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Wait, who has who's screen sharing right now?
Okay, now it is Sean. Sean, you're sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second code is what like you will be working on.
I can already see the mistake.
Yep.
Nice.
So I see missing parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, it literally
So,
tells you what to print.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yep.
Now that's perfect. See what happens to running. See?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So,
good.
Wow.
Yep. So go ahead and take some other code that you have already got. Sean, do you have any code that we can just do a mini debugging session?
Huh?
Go ahead and open some other code that you have got. Any code that you have written so far.
Okay, I'll just pick out the random one.
Okay, yeah, just pick out the random one and then right click there. And then say debug. Don't run, say debug.
Debug?
Yep. Okay, and let's keep we didn't give any breakpoint. Okay, stop the debugging session for a minute. Stop it, which means click on that red square button.
The big square button?
Red square, like stop the debugger.
Down?
Yep. Okay, now click right at line number 7.
The
Line number 7. Yeah. You see, click on the black portion so that that red circle will come, right? Just click on the black portion. Click next to the number. Can you click next to the number?
Oh, next to the.
Next to the 7, number 7.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Okay,
for us to get the breakpoint, now you right click and then run debugger. And now you okay, let's just go ahead and give enter how old you are, like just enter that. It's asking for a input in the console. Enter that value.
10.
Enter. Okay, you see that, right? Like future age is 20. The variables are actually assigned. Do you see the variables in the
Yeah.
console? Yes. So the values, whatever is assigned to the variables, will be there. And do you see that small blue icons like arrows above this screen? Uh, yeah,
Arrows. I
like
see
if
any arrows.
where are you seeing it? So those blue arrows, the small blue arrows, which is right above that main thread keyword. Do you see that?
I don't see the arrows.
You don't see the arrows. Okay, let me tell you what you have to like basically type. So Alt Shift F7. So can you hold on Alt Shift and F7?
Oh, the ship what?
Alt Shift F7.
Oh, ship to air 7.
F7, the function 7. Alt Shift F7.
How do you ship it?
No, okay. Did you pay attention to when I was teaching you on the debugger one, like how you can click on the step into and step out?
Yeah.
Uh,
No, that's a
no.
little.
Okay. Uh, you see the variables, right? Okay, kids, like, can we stop on the chat session for a minute? I am not able to like focus here. So focus here. So I will be asking you to run the debugger also. So just like focus here. So you're seeing variables, right, Sean?
Yeah, here.
Right above the variables, do you see little bit of arrows? Like one arrow is going up above there, above there.
Here.
Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen for a minute and then I will show you what I am telling. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm debug. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you what I am saying. So I entered the values here and then, okay, I did not give a breakpoint. Let me just give a breakpoint here. Okay, you see these icons. This is what I was telling. Do you see it on your screen?
Wait, I can't see your screen.
You cannot see my screen?
Yeah. I can't see your screen. All I can see is you.
No, maybe switch to another screen. Like it may have popped up in a different screen. Like I'm sharing it. I'm seeing. Is others seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can see it. I can see it.
Are you seeing the screen, Sean? Okay, if you're, you should see other screen sharing. Actually, you can't. Are you sure you're not able to locate where the screen share is happening? Sean, are you there? Okay, let's Advait, like you go ahead with the next one. So
Uh,
I will stop
so number
sharing.
two,
So the
number three.
number three, yeah.
I'm gonna start sharing.
Okay, yes, and Sean, like see how others are doing, so you'll be able to locate that icons.
Like a lot.
Wait, can I say something?
May you please locate your eyes to the screen and see and let me know if you
Yeah,
can't see my screen. Can
Dhruv,
you see my?
yes, yes, I can see your screen. Yes, Dhruv.
So for the what is your age? Shouldn't you put date time code into it?
Why?
Because it's not really the most accurate. Because if I put that in, and I'm 10, right? So it would say I would be 20 in 10 years, right?
Mhm.
Or I'm actually going to be 19, technically, because my birthday's in November.
So you can do add additional codes and then say like specifically how old you are. You can do that. that also. It's not like, as said, your computer does what you ask it to code. So if you want to accurately like measure like based on your date, time, like birth year, it can tell you exactly 10 years from now how old you are. You can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and
Yeah.
advice, we can all see your screen.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I can't.
Oh, okay, first
Sean, are
I'm
you?
just gonna
I
run
hope like
this.
Sean can see the screen.
And I'm just gonna
I can
send it.
see the screen.
You can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so just like pay attention to what he is doing, because after he runs this, I'll ask him to do a mini debugging session, and then I'll ask him to show like the icons what I was telling, because those
Yeah.
you should learn to debug a code also as a programmer. What happened, sir?
Okay, so first let me just review this. So it's basically so the reminders, okay.
Yeah, this is the same code that we did earlier for adding, subtracting, and all, like where we were doing the if-else condition and the functions.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna run it and see what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Enter the first number. 21. Second number. 13. What do you want to do?
So you have to enter 1, 2, 3, or 3, 4, or 5.
5.
Mm-hmm.
What? I don't see anything wrong with
Any
this
error?
though.
So try 3. Try option 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not like every options where the errors might not have been introduced.
1.
Yeah, because I tried option 3. And then
Option 3 also did not have an error.
it did.
Option.
No, it
Um,
did. It did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try number 1.
Okay.
Option 1 gave me an error.
Yeah,
Okay,
option.
then
I
try
can already see.
option 1.
I can see the mistake with option 1.
Yes, so then try
There's a
option 1.
missing. There's a missing argument.
Okay, good. Yeah, option 1 and 3 is having a problem there.
Yeah, they're missing arguments.
Yes. So you notice the error message, right? Let's just pay attention to the error message, Advait. Increase your console size. Appa, that is too much, my dear. Okay. A little bit, yes, that's good. So you see, like type error, that's what it's saying. Add missing one required positional argument y, which is basically it's not getting the value for y. So
Yeah,
you
so it's
gave,
XY right here.
yes,
And there's supposed to be like another num.
yes.
So
And
I'm gonna
another
try this, comma,
mm-hmm.
num 2.
Yes,
And same thing for multiplication.
yes.
Num 2.
Yep.
Okay, now let's do this. Okay, 21,
Mm-hmm.
13. 1, 2, 3.
Fine.
Now let's try 1.
Mm-hmm.
Aha!
Okay.
Now let's try multiplication.
Yeah, and this is a good example, right? Like maybe when you are testing the code, if your code is having multiple branches, this what we say, because there is multiple branches here, each condition is a branch, and you tested only one section and then said like, yes, code is working fine, you released it. Then the addition was not working fine, but you did not test it. So a good, like before going into production, you always will be checking all the paths.
Okay, that was a mistake of mine. I apologize.
No, I'm saying like these are like some of the things when you're a programmer you will be like paying attention to. So let's Advait, keep some breakpoints and then start your debugger.
Okay, I wish I had like a bigger screen because like
It's okay. I mean, like right now we just like we will not completely debug this. I just want Sean to see those icons. So keep a
okay, so
breakpoint at a place where you think, and not only that, when you are keeping a breakpoint, if your code is having multiple branches, then you have to give inputs based on that. So
I'm just
you
gonna put
can
it at every elif.
and put it in the if also then. Basically, if you just like give 1 and your program will complete because you don't have a breakpoint there. Yep.
There. And
Yes.
just for good measures.
Okay. And
Now let's go to debug.
yeah.
Or we could just do this.
Yep.
Okay.
It will be asking for input actually. It's where is your console? Go to your console.
I'm in my console.
You're in your console, so maybe is it starting?
Oh, I think waiting for
Waiting for connection. Yeah.
Oh, it's there we
Okay.
go.
Yes.
Enter the first number. Uno.
You hit enter.
Enter the second number. 19. What operation do you want to do? 3. Okay.
Okay.
So these are my variables.
Yes, those are his variables. Sean, do you see this? Can you show those icons, Advait? The arrows like the shift. Yes, those icons.
Okay, so
you see that? Oh, hold on. Don't like run over. I just want to see if he's paying, if he's able to notice that on his screen also. Sean, are you seeing it?
Yeah.
Yes, so that's what like, so then you do the third icon actually, the step Alt Shift F7, step into my code. Advait, the third icon. Yes,
step
that.
into my code.
Yeah, into your code.
It's stepping into the code so it can actually do this thing because it's a breakpoint.
Yes.
What? Oh,
yes.
I clicked the 2 times.
So you entered 3, right? That's what it is doing. So it just skipped there and then it's saying like it stopped right at 3.
Ah.
Yes, so click that and now it will, no, click that once, Shift F7, yeah, click that again. And then now it is doing multiply because all those 3 options it did not get. You entered 3 and then click that one more time.
Oopsie.
Now it will go to the multiply.
Okay.
Okay, don't you don't need to navigate there. It will tell like a small pop-up will come. So click on that. Click on your debugger. Yes. Okay, we finish. So see the console, you see that popping? That's where it says like it is done. I think you stopped it somewhere in between, but you noticed that, right?
It's right here.
Yeah.
It's right here.
I got a random error that doesn't make sense.
Okay. So Advait, you can stop sharing and Dhruv, go ahead and start. Yeah, you did good. Dhruv, go ahead and share your screen. And
am I sharing?
at the same time, go ahead and share your screen and you will do lab 4.
So I want to debug. 0, 0, then I just pick the 5th one. Then tell this.
Yeah, because you cannot divide by 0, right? Like you cannot divide by 0 to get as what is this telling? So this is just telling 0 division error. It's not a weird error. It's telling you it's a 0 division error. Float module. You cannot divide by 0.
Okay. I'm gonna go get some water.
I mean, why don't you put something when if 0 divided by 0, if 0 divided by 0, if 0 divided by 0, impossible equation. Please try again.
Yeah, you can change your code. You can change your code to tell all that.
Okay, here, I'll do the next one.
Yeah, do the next one.
We're already at 110 labs, not counting the first day. Yeah.
I think at the end of the class, I should ask your review only. Okay, how the class was, how many labs we did it. And if you, huh?
I think I missed a few from the first day. I didn't do it. I didn't like record it like this. It's fine, just making up new names for every single group. Okay, so 6.
Yep. I liked how Advait has organized his lab. So he has just kept it as like lab 5, program 1, program 2, program 3. So it's not like counting which labs each of the sections are.
Control C. I just like counting the labs. Wrong one.
Yeah, I think that you got it at the right one only. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same one. 3 and 4 are the same one. It's just going to give you a different error.
Let me guess. No. Let me guess. Num1, num2, num1. That's definitely wrong.
Don't fix it before we are seeing the error, because the scope of this one is for you to see the error first and then fix it.
I saw it at 1, so let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make this 9001.
Mm-hmm.
And then I 181 and
No, are you running the one? You're running 109. Your console is saying 109. Don't click on the run button. Right click and say run.
yeah, why doesn't it just adapt to that? I always
Did I miss anything?
I was appreciating how you have organized your code. I like it actually. So how you have got it as lab 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. I was just telling about that. Yeah. So that's what you missed. So yep.
Okay.
let's
Go
do
ahead.
let's do 9001 again.
Mm-hmm.
1.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what does it tell? It says type error.
Yeah, there's more positional arguments, so there should be.
Yep.
Okay, now will it work when I just do that?
Yes.
1.
Mm-hmm.
Make this over 9000.
Mm-hmm.
1.
The Dragon Ball memes ever net end.
Yep. Now it works fine.
That's why I put 9001.
Yep. So if you scroll down, do you think the other sections will be working fine?
No.
Scroll down in the code.
Oh wait, there. Oh, I thought you meant like the next this stuff.
Yeah, so the other those sections are fine. No, we'll so do you want to like take one of your code and then do a quick debug session? I want to see if you're able to like debug.
Okay. Once I don't remember. There was that one where I found that thing where it should where when you put 1. I don't know. Okay. Who cares? So just where's lab 1?
Lab 1 was a very easy one, I think. Just pick 21. Let's see what's there in 21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a very small one, my dear. So okay, pick your lab 110 itself. What you were working on right now?
I know what I'm picking.
Okay.
Lab 65.
That's still more
Why
small.
are you so tiny?
Yeah.
You have the curse of the tininess.
I don't think it's a thing.
Okay,
It's a thing
so
for me.
it's okay. It's okay. So just like keep some breakpoints here, Dhruv, in this code, what you are seeing, lab 110.
Is it? Okay, I got this. Wait. Lab 80.
Okay.
Let's go. It's a big
Yes.
lab. Yeah.
Okay.
Mission
So
accomplished.
keep a breakpoint at some place.
Here.
Okay. And then right click and debug. Okay.
Okay.
No, so you clicked on the play again. Stop your program.
Oh, I need to debug in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's debug this. And
See, at this point, it stopped. It did something and then it is stopping right here. So what do you do to step into your code? It's the third icon where I was showing it. So these are all the variables that is set in your code, and some of the variables, it may not be yours.
so it's active all anchor arc baseline bevel both bottom.
Yeah, because you are using the Tkinter libraries here, right? So many of that variables also will be here.
I'm not gonna say what this says. Cascade center charge check. How far does this go? Wait.
It just like keeps going. So your X and Y is what like you are paying more attention to. So also the one last before one, X is equal to int 19. You see that, right? X is equal to int 19. That is your variable. So you can right click that. X is equal to int 19. Right click that. And then say add to watches. And where is your watch console here? I don't see your watch console.
Right there.
Hmm?
Right here. I just clicked on it.
You just clicked on it. Do you see the watch console?
Yes, I see a pair of glasses.
Yes. Yes, there's a
Isn't it
pair
a
of
watch
glasses.
console? Why is there
Yeah. So
why is
right
there a
click.
pair?
Hmm?
Why is
Yes,
there a pair of
yeah.
glasses where whenever it's a watch console?
Yeah, click that watch, click that pair of glasses actually, Dhruv. Click that one because we want to see the watch window. Click
I
that.
clicked it.
It came right where I thought I just saw it coming up and then it went again.
It's up right now.
What?
I swear you have the laggiest computer screen in the world.
Yeah, okay, I don't know. Okay, so click on the icon. Which icon will you be clicking for it to move to the next step?
There, can you see it now?
No, I don't see the watch console, so minimize that.
What are you seeing?
I am seeing main thread and variables. That's all I'm seeing. I am not seeing the watch kind of like there should be another frame that will open which will say watches.
Give me a second. Where's Skype? Wait, where's Skype? Where's Skype?
Are you seeing watches? I don't think you are also seeing it.
Oh, I know what happened.
Hmm.
Skype closed.
Skype closed?
Skype
Skype.
just crashed.
No, we are able to hear you.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah.
It's like,
Skype just crashed for a second. Okay, sharing my screen again. There. Wait, what? View. Computer's being glitchy. Okay. On.
okay, it's like a heavy rain is happening. Okay. But Dhruv, I was expecting that you will navigate me through the icons there, but I'm not seeing that you're doing that. Are you there, Dhruv? I don't I see him. But Dhruv,
His power probably just shut down.
just shut down. Okay.
But then could you so I was looking at lab 3
Uh-huh.
and I didn't really see anything wrong because like in like the it gave me like a invalid syntax for like the add thing, but I didn't see anything wrong.
There's supposed to be two
Yeah, that's
arguments.
what I saw, but like I couldn't find a third argument.
The
There
third
is no. Yeah.
the other thing is in the multiply. Yeah,
I'm back.
No, because it gave me an error, but I didn't find anything that was like wrong. So
Okay. Okay.
so
We'll. Okay, you want to quickly share your screen? We'll just take a look at it, and then Miles, can you go next for the lab 5 as soon as we are done with Alan?
okay.
Okay.
So it gave me it like said add takes two positional arguments, but three were given. So I was kind of confused on where because I bet it's there. Just
Where is your code? Your PyCharm? You're not. No, Dhruv, we are not hearing you.
wait. Oh, you can't see it?
Okay, I think Miles is sharing it. Okay, that error is there all the way down, Alan.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
it's
that error is all the way down. It's not in the function. It's where you're calling the function. Yes. Yes.
Hold on, can you see my screen?
Yes, Miles. We can see your screen. Go ahead and do lab 5.
I already copied and pasted it.
Okay. And what is the error saying? Dhruv.
What is
It's like
going
Dhruv.
on?
Dhruv has the fanciest computer. I think it shows green and then makes sound.
Oh my god.
Yes, so it is saying unexpected in there. So do you see the error? Hold on, guys. Like, okay, attention back to class.
Computer wasn't making sound.
So line 92.
Yes, so it is, what is it saying, Miles? Wow, okay.
I just decided to make one file for all of these instead of having to keep on making different files.
Okay, yeah, not a problem actually. For this exercise, it's not a problem though. But so it is saying indentation error, right? Unexpected indent. Do you see that?
I see it.
Okay, so what do we do for that error? What actually does that mean?
Drew, stop.
Okay, Advait and Dhruv, I'm gonna mute both of you guys. Hold on, let's please pay attention to the class here. Dhruv, hold on, like you went offline for a minute, so we switched over to Miles' lesson. We'll get back to you.
I'm not making that noise. Just saying.
Yes, Miles, go ahead.
Indentation error means there's an unexpected that it was unexpected like this to be like an inch.
Yeah, so no, it is indentation is like it is not lined up correctly. So I've mentioned like Python is all about like indenting the code, which means like is it starting from column 1 or column 2 or column 3 like that. So it is so click on the line where it says like file. So just above where it says like the line of code, it will give you the line number. So just click on that line number down. Down it you have like a URL, right? Yeah, click there. Do you see that line 92?
Right here? Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yes. So it is saying line 92 is where you have the problem. Okay, no other places. So line 92 is where you need to fix the error. So where do you think that x is equal to 1, that statement should start? Is it starting at the right place?
No.
No. So where do you think it should start? So you see the other lines on the top, right, where it is all starting at the first column, the print statements, the import, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
where should that x is equal to 1 start?
Okay. Or here, and before like these.
Hey guys,
What?
there's sirens. There's a tornado. Let's go downstairs.
Oh,
Take your stuff.
the tornado.
Wait, there's a tornado?
Okay.
Yeah, the tornado sirens are going off right
There's
now.
a tornado
Okay, don't worry.
warning.
I have data. I can continue this class.
Yeah, the tornado sirens are going off right now.
Come on.
Okay. Okay, you guys. Okay, carry on. We will continue next week, next class. Okay, bye.
Okay.
Mom, there's a
Bye.
tornado siren.
Bye, everyone. Yep.
Should we go downstairs?
Bye.